Hello, I'm Cecilia.
And I'm Justin.
And today we're going to bring you the second installment in our Tropes video series.
So this time we actually kind of have a little discussion game we're going to do. So we've created a pile. Each of us have created put in several tropes, and we're just going to pull one. And basically, we're going to start discussing them, what we think of them. The way we picked them were a bunch of tropes we thought would be interesting to discuss. Neither were our favorite or least favorite. So, we should get started.
And I'm going to be not going to be a dork with this paper anymore. How about this?
So I'm going to go first. Oh, is this one of mine? Oh, it's one of mine.
What's yours?
The Loner. So, I'm going to say what I had in mind when I first made this. Granted, the Loner is a very open interpretation one. But the one I had was like, the guy who never joins the team, the guy who's always on his own. Maybe there's like a cute little sidekick or something. But he's, for one reason or another, he travels alone. I am impartial to this.
Okay. I think that it can either be done really, really well, or it can just tank a whole piece.
Because it depends on their reasoning for being a loner, to me.
You know, I mean, I totally think it's plausible to be like, I'm an introvert.
Completely.
And I've had some, like, weird experiences in my life, and so I just don't like people getting super close to me.
It could also be I'm just trying to find myself right now, and I can't do that with other... Completely understandable. What I don't like is when they're like, you know, just like, they weigh me down.
Yeah, or like when there's like this character that's sitting there being like, I don't care who you are or where you come from. I don't want anything to do with you. Even though I don't know anything about you, I've decided that you are not the person that I want in my life because I'm a loner.
Right. Or even just like someone who has a very absurd reasoning for it. Or just like, you know, a lone wolf. By the way, there's no such thing as a lone wolf. Just want to break that.
They run in packs.
Just want to break that fantasy.
Science.
Most lone wolves, unfortunately, die in the wild. That's actually sad. But,
we don't do that in this relationship. When it's okay, something you should know about me. I love wolves.
I do too.
Do not know nothing smack about wolves.
I'm a wolf.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Okay, this one is nobody could have survived that. Also presented to you by Justin.
I love this one.
I guess, like, because he explained this one to me before we filmed this video, and so, like, I guess I think it's just stupid. Yeah. So,
for those of you unaware, the nobody could have survived that trope is usually, okay, so here's a classic scenario. Villain pushes hero over waterfall. Villain goes, nobody could have survived that, because logically, nobody could. But because they said that, the hero survived.
Is this like the nobody dies ever trope?
It's not really that. It's more of the hero survives even though it's essentially, usually it just cuts to the hero surviving. There's no real explanation of why he survived it. So, it's kind of just lazy storytelling.
Ooh. That was a read. That was some shade.
So, yeah. Granted, it can be fabulously hilarious at some points. Where it's just literally like, you know, this guy, like 100-pound nothing jumps over a waterfall has nothing wrong with him. Oh, he's wet. Like, and he's like, oh, man, at least we escaped the guards. Now let's just take our shirts off and reveal our sparkling no. I don't know. It goes along with the whole, like, it just feels a little convoluted. That's where I was getting at with the whole, like, oh, just so happens that they're also ripped or something.
Yeah, and, like, also, like, is this, like, no one could have survived that trope? Is it, like, sometimes manifested in, like, a humorous interpretation of, like, I stab you, and then I shoot you, and then, like, kill you with poison and you still come back?
It's like, because I'm just that tough.
I just don't get this trope. I think it's stupid. How about you go again?
So we know the full feelings of that. Ooh, this is one of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Orphan, who has to go on a quest to honor someone's death or fulfill a legacy. I actually like this trope because it can really kind of add its way to interesting stories. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, some of the greatest stories of fantasy have come out of this. Harry Potter was an orphan, fulfilling a legacy. Was Frodo technically an orphan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was to do some really big quest. I think it's the good thing about it is it's really a quest starter. But it's not a quest, like, it doesn't set anything.
You know, like, when I originally wrote this, I was like, meh, I've seen it so many times. But when you say it like that, I mean, like, it's Luke Skywalker and Dorothy.
It's the hero's journey.
It is. And so I think that, like, you kind of really changed my mind about this one. Cause,
really?
Like, it's, like, so overdone. And I feel like, why is the only reason why the character is motivated, why is the only reason for that is, like, I have to because you're dead?
Now, granted, it can be done poorly, obviously. But, also, like, the circumstances of the death, circumstances of the legacy, it can always turn up different things. Even Conan the Barbarian, it's basically the same thing, where it's just like, his parents and village were killed. Mm-hmm. He figures out, when he grows up into being Arnold Schwarzenegger, he grows up and figures out, that a snake man killed him. Goes off on revenge. Plot. Pretty much. And that pretty much fits it. Why don't you go?
I'm gonna go now. Okay. Gender bender.
Ah! You know, here's what I think when I think gender bender. I think those anime episodes where something magical happens and all the characters swap genders. Like, there's even a Soul Eater episode where they go into the lust realm, where it swaps genders, essentially. It's kind of hilarious because at the same time it's just shenanigans.
Yeah.
And I mean, for shenanigans, I'm cool with it.
So, like, I have a similar opinion, but then So, basically, this trope is commonly used as a device to facilitate situational comedies.
Most of the time, but...
However, I think that what I'm always missing from this trope is the fact that we never seem to explore gender roles within this realm.
Right. Typically, the characters are sort of in the same place.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, he has boobs now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm currently reading the Song of the Lioness Quartet, which follows Alana of Trebond, who cross-dresses at the palace in order to be a knight. It's 4 books of this character who is really going on this internal journey of, I am a warrior and a woman. How does that how does that play into my identity? And so I think that every single one of those books, from internal struggles to interpersonal relationships, really questions and, again, really questions gender roles.
You know, I think maybe I wasn't thinking about it too deeply. Again, you've actually kind of opened my eyes on that, because I think I was just thinking about like the literal meaning.
Yeah.
You were going much deeper into it, which maybe I should have been.
Well, no, because, like, I think that, like, when you're talking about the gender bender trope, you're talking, you're talking about two different things.
Right.
Because on this side of it, it is used as a device for situational comedies, and then on this side, it is
Out of body comedies, mostly.
Yeah. And then on this side, it's this serious societal issue.
Right.
So, it kind of just depends on what the piece is catering towards.
Okay, yeah. Maybe I should think about it more. I love you.
I love you too. Now it's your turn.
Let's see. Okay. Insta-love. Yeah, why don't you go first?
I hate it.
Okay, back to me. Just, I don't really... I have to refer to a quote I heard from, like, a video reviewer once, when they were... So if any of you have heard of Phaelus in the movies or whatever, he's watching a Beauty and the Beast, rip-off. And basically, it's like... Will you marry me? Yes. Now can we get to know each other finally?
Right? Because I think that, like, my real problem with Insta-love is that it's called Insta-love. It's not love. It's like an underlying...
It's a crush.
It's an attraction. And it's like, you know what? That's valid too. But don't call it Insta-love. Call it something else.
I mean, the best possible situation is it leads the character to want to know more about this other character. And then they both start learning about each other and stuff.
I don't even think it does that, though. I think it's seriously just like, look, we're Insta-love, we're beholden to each other for the whole series.
And then, their future child shows up from the future and then says, oh yeah, you clearly need to get together. Right?
And then it's just peer pressure, and that's gross.
Yeah, I'm not really into it. I'm not into it. Let's leave it at that. Oh, I win.
Oh, you did. It is my turn.
Yes, it is.
I follow.
What?
Okay. Enemy disappears for years, only to stir the pot when drama is needed.
It can be written well. But at the same time, there's gonna be that question of, where the hell have you been? Kind of. Like,
right.
Is that character just been sitting there like, okay, I'm gonna wait until they have a kid, and then when they have a kid, I'm gonna sneak in and act like his uncle or something, and now I'm gonna make him evil. Like, if there's an actual reason, like, the bad guy literally can't return for, like, years later, and then someone unleashes him, and it's like, but that's more of villain from the past rather than stirring up drama.
Right.
Which, I'll always take villain from the past, but that can also be done badly.
I don't know. I'm really torn because I'm currently reading a book that has this trope in it. And this morning when I figured it out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so brilliant. But it's been hours and I've been like, is this brilliant? Or is this just like, there wasn't enough drama in the last book, so now we're creating more drama?
it can be like if the villain wasn't just waiting to stir, like maybe he was waiting for his chance. Okay, I can accept that. But it also can just be like, oh my gosh, that's really convenient.
I guess what I'm talking about is like literally like everything was fine, and then all of a sudden this one dude is trying to poison them, and then they find out it was the enemy from when she was 10. You know?
I mean, it's one of those things like, why wouldn't he strike earlier?
I don't... Well, because there was too much drama in book 2.
Well, then strike when there's more drama. You'll kill your enemies that way. Are you opposed to winning? In my opinion, like...
Whose turn is it? I'm still lost.
It's my turn.
Okay.
The lovable psychopath.
I love it.
I love it too.
I love it. It is so delicious when you're like, I should hate you because you're the ultimate bad guy. You're so crazy, but I just love you.
Well, even like psychopaths that are like, this guy's a murderer. He's one of the good guys. But he's so lovable because it's just like, oh, you know, you see him at a coffee shop, he's so quirky. It's like, this guy's clearly a psychotic killer. You still love it. You wouldn't want to meet him, but you just love every minute he's on screen.
And I have to say the same thing about the lovable sociopath. I mean, like, Dollhouse, Topher Brink. You shouldn't love him. I do. Elle from Death Note. Same thing.
Tiny Tina from Borderlands 2. The most destructive 9-year-old... The deadliest 9-year-old in the history of the universe.
Aww.
She's adorable. Destructive, but she's adorable. If you don't know Borderlands 2, it's basically a bunch of lovely killers who you normally would... These guys would be the bad guys. But then you look at who the actual bad guys are and are like, okay, well, I'll pull my hand. None of these people are good people. I'll leave it at that.
And we know that. We're not crazy. We know that they're bad. We just love them.
We just love every minute they're there. So... You are picking the final one.
The last melon.
I'm sorry, I love that.
The optimistic underdog.
I love this trope.
I feel like when it's done realistic, like when it's done so that the underdog seems realistic and it seems like, oh, of course they're optimistic, you know, because either it's like so bad that there has to be that optimistic force, or it's like this person, like, I don't even know. I don't know how I feel about this trope. I think it's fine.
With me, it's half and half, because I watch a lot of shows where they're, you know, like, as I said before, I watch shows like Beyblade or, you know, game-based stuff where it's like, it's usually a beginner and then they go to like the National League or something. But the thing is, it's like, something I've taken from that, don't you laugh,
I'm gonna be the very best.
Okay, well anyway, it's just, sometimes I see like a grizzled veteran look at this character and like they'll say something along the lines of, you know, this person, you know, has the spirit I've lost long ago.
Oh, okay, that's just sad though.
But at the same time, it's like he brings that spirit back.
Skywise. Okay, I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Elf Quest.
But anyway, I love the underdog who you really want him to win.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah, he'll probably not be optimistic all the time. It'd kind of be scary if he was. Like, but it's that spirit that, like, you know he can do it. I just kind of like it. It's my own guilty pleasure.
Yes. Also, I take it back. Skywise isn't an optimistic underdog. I don't think there's an optimistic underdog in ElfQuest. I was just saying. Skywise. Skywise forever. So that was our trope opinion game thing.
We hope you liked it, and hey, you should say your opinions on these tropes.
Yes, we would love to hear them.
Oh, also, something you could do. In the comments, if you put random tropes, maybe we'll use them for the next one.
Right? We might do this again with your suggestions.
But, until then, this is Cecilia.
And Justin.
Signing off.
Bye.
Bye.